We need to know 3 chords to be able to play Wish You Were Here. The first chord is an E minor 7. To play that, we put our first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and our 4th finger on the 3rd fret of the high E. We play all 6 strings. Now, one thing you're going to notice with all of these 3 chords is that your 3rd and 4th finger are going to be on the same strings on the same frets for all 3 of these chords. So keep that in mind as I show you the next 2. The next chord, I'm going to leave these here. The next chord is the G chord. So leaving those fingers where they are, we're going to then put our 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, and our 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. We play all 6 strings, and that's a G chord. And the last chord we need to know is the A7 add 4. Again, I'm just going to leave these 2 fingers where they are. I'm going to put my 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and my 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and I'm going to play 5 strings and not play the low E, and that's the A7 add 4 chord. So to start off, we're going to play the 3rd fret of the low E, then the open A string, 2nd fret of the A, open D string, 2nd fret of the D string. Then we're going to play the E minor 7 chord. We'll hold that down and we're going to do 4 strums of that. Then we're going to play the open G string, the 2nd fret of the D, and the open D. And then we're going to do 3 strums of the G chord. And then we repeat that whole line. You can see there's a repeat sign at the end of the line. We repeat the whole line. on to the second line. We start off exactly the same way as we started off the first line. 3rd fret of the low E, open A, 2nd fret of the A string, open D, 2nd fret of the D string. And then we play the E minor 7 chord again, but instead this time we just do 2 strums. Then we play the 2nd fret of the D string, open D, 2nd fret of the A string, open A. And now we play 3 strums of the A7 add 4 chord. And once we've played that chord 3 times, you'll see there's a repeat sign. So we go back to the start of that line and we play it all again. Now to finish off this line, we play the A7 add 4 chord, but we need to play it 6 times instead of 3 times like we did the first time. And then the third line, we play a G chord all the way through to the end of the line. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we return to the very first bar of the very first line and we play those 4 notes. 3rd fret, open A, 2nd fret of the A, open D, and we just finish off with an E minor 7 chord. And that's how you play Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd.